What's up everyone, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be talking about Armed Fantasia, the spiritual successor of Wild Arms, and Penny Blood, the spiritual successor of Shadow Hearts, and made by the original developers. That's the most important thing. They are aiming for a 720,000 goal for Kickstarter, and it does not seem like it's enough, but we'll get into that later. This project is amazing. I love Shadow Hearts 2. It's on my top 5 RPGs of all times. I love Yuri as a protagonist, and I love Wild Arms 3 soundtrack and characters as well. So I'm excited to see what's coming out of this Kickstarter. But well, let's first of all watch the trailer. There is something very interesting to be said about it. Mashida Matsuzu is the creator of the Shadow Hearts franchise. Niigata Prefecture is where his company is based off. Strange it says Bandai 2022. You say 17 years since Shadow Hearts 2. Am I out of ideas? And I have to say that why does not he mention Shadow Hearts 3? That's because there was other people involved as well. It was not just his planning. I guess that he believes Shadow Hearts 2 is his magnum opus. It's probably right. But it's interesting to see that he just says Shadow Hearts 2 instead of the last game he was involved. That was exactly Arms Hearts, a PSP game. This thing here is crazy. I don't get all the memes here, but this is a roulette, and he says, get Rick with NFTs. What is a man? This is a joke about Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and like I said, he's taking cues from a Eiyuden Chronicle that also took clues from Bloodstained, so it seems like they were assessed by the same people to make this kickstart. It's also funny that you see he using this wig and he's trying to play a character, so let's see what happens. Make a new JRPG. You hadn't thought of that one, of course you haven't. This is another thing that he says, it's on decline, and well, I believe that many JP developers was thinking the same. They didn't want to make new JRPGs because they were not selling as much. The cost of production was just increasing, but we haven't seen a lot of coming back. We have plenty of JRPGs being released in a year. We just saw Square Enix just focusing more on JRPGs and even selling the Western branch, so it makes sense that we are seeing a revival. Inspiration. This scene here also reminds me of the second part of Shadow Hearts 1. He focused on this romance here a lot. This reminds me of the Enneagram manuscript, and it's totally based. It's blank. And here you start seeing amazing stuff. I really love this art design. Penny Blood. I have to rewind a little. It's funny because I do believe that he gave hints about the game and his ideas here, because we have H.P. Lovecraft around here. There's romance, and there is also horror. all the themes that he wants to use in this new game.
これはペニーブラッドだ。
May not have catched all the references.
でもそれで十分か？ JRPG に熱中してくれた人たちがいたのは。
And he just says it's been years since the JRPG boom. And that's the feeling that they have, that they cannot make large-scale games anymore because they don't sell.
もう何年も昔のことだ。今のゲーマーたちにこの JRPG の凄さを理解。
What will help modern games see just how amazing JRPGs are. And it's also why the Kickstarter is focused on both sides. There's English, Japanese. Well, they really want to sell the game for the broader audience.
してもらうためにはどうアピールするのがいいんだろう。口笛
Wistful. We've got a good idea. Each of these games are aimed at our individual fan bases. Why not collaborate and use that to bring more attention to each game? And this is something very interesting that I will discuss a little more after. And they really wanted to call for attention. I don't know if this was their decisions or for a company that's helping them with the Kickstarter process. But making a double game Kickstarter of nostalgia really hits a mark for many people. This will be popular and will get a lot of attention just because it has this collaboration. And Kaneko is the creator of the Wild Arms series. He was involved with the Wild Arms mobile game that was shut down past year. So he probably went on to work on this. And it's strangely enough, this one is, well, closer to being a product than Penny Blood. Dreaming of writing a new adventure in the wilderness. So why don't we team up? Team ups are awesome, let's do it. And they really are. And something that you can see in this picture as well is that he's been working on this since some time ago. There is a date here, 2021 in month 8. It changes, sometimes it shows 9 for the character designs, so almost 1 year. Armored Fantasia.
なるほど。JRPG を2つ。
True JRPGs. Amazing. You see that you have something closer to a final product. The animation, the backgrounds, everything here looks and feels like a playable game. I have to say, these names are crazy. Alicia Fairhead. What's the name of the other character here? I don't know how they make these names. Look at the name of this guy. Ingram Goodweather. Euclid Spargos. So, I don't know, man. Probably a machine that creates names out of nowhere. Armored Fantasia is a name that really reminds of Wild Arms. No, the character's design is pretty reminiscent of Wild Arms 4 and 5 because the character design is the same. You also see a HUD. And the art they use here is probably close to finish. They may change during development, but, well, the game could be like this, and you'll still believe. A lot of close-ups, the animation is pretty good. You also see some slowdowns here and there. It seems like it's running on a prototype. But the art choice here is amazing. I mean, we got games with some problems like Star Ocean. Now we start Penny Blood, finally. I don't think this game is as close as being a product like Armored Fantasia. You can see the menu here for the map. It's pretty rough and it doesn't make sense. It's a cinematic, why would it have a map on the screen? But the art design is amazing. They try to make it look like a graphic novel. The character is pretty similar to Yuri Hyuga, in my opinion, but still pretty different on the same regard. The other character is amazing. And here you see the, well, successor to the Judgment Ring. 4 touches and then 4 hits. This HUD here is a little more similar to what could be in the end game, but the other elements don't match up so well. When I play this trailer, this part here is a little frozen up. Now, so this is cinematic. It's not a real fight. You can fuse and become monster, demon, I don't know. It's more like a demon. And again, 4 hits. But then it was only 1. 3. Is this count as a 4? Yeah, but it's a finisher. I didn't like this too much. This smile in the end didn't match. But it's an interesting trailer, I have to say. The best part is that it really reminds me of Shadow Hearts. It has its heart. You can see that he is trying to make a successor and not just inspired by.
JRPG を開発するための資金を集めることは簡単なことではありません。だからこそ多くのサポートを必要としています。
I agree.
Please help us make our dreams come true.
Make our dreams come true. Now let's talk about the goal. 700,000 is not even close of being enough to make 2 games. Whoa, it's not even enough to make 1 game of this caliber. Either AA or AAA games will need much more than that. But they say here on the project that they tried to show these games for different publishers and they didn't approve. So I'm guessing they want to show that there is an audience, there is support, people will purchase these games so that they can then get more funds to make it happen. But if the project blows up and they get like 4 million, they may not even need extra help. It's a gamble, like all Kickstarter products, but at least it seems like they are being inspired by Eiyuden Chronicle instead of Mighty Number 9, for example, and I hope they don't add too many stretch goals and keep their feet on the ground with the project. Now let's check more about the games, and right from the start, you will understand Wilderness and Whistling are 2 of the most important themes in Wild Arms games, and Malice and Mayhem, the same for Shadow Hearts. Those are the things that you will remember the most when thinking about these games. There is one interesting thing here on the description of Penny Blood, and it's that they have some letters in red, and this may be a code or something. I don't know, because it makes no sense when you look on this. Maybe there's a way to read. And there's also information about the settings, the characters. Well, Matthew Farrell. That's not so strange as Ingrid Goodweather. Anyway. And we have a lot of art from the characters. There's a 3rd character here, Suseri Otsuka, that I also really enjoy. And some shadows of other characters too. Gameplay from the Armed Fantasia seems to be more in-depth for now, while Penny Blood is a work in progress. And there's more information, there's too much to read. Let's keep going. Then the art of the enemies, Ethan, it's pretty reminiscent of Shadow Heart. Yeah, I know that they would not be using the same elements. It's just like Xenogears going to Xenosaga. Some loose references, and it seems to be the Lord of Death commanding over the 7 deadly sins. A lot of references. Locations, just like Shadow Hearts, will be going through the original world, Times Square, New York, and some other places. And Wild Arms will be more Western punk settlement, so even more modern than the other games in the series, I guess. North Territown. Prehistoric ruins. There is a wide variety of places, and the games are just so different anyway. There's some samples of soundtrack here, pretty nice as well. Key points. This is important. Veterans of their craft team up once again to tell the tale that unfolds in the shadows of the early 1920s. So yeah, they are using some of the same developers. Of course, it's not the same exact team, but just to see the creative team being together means much. And for Armored Fantasia, explore a world turned wilderness with a unique Western punk feel. So probably some disaster happened in the past, and that's why the world is like that. Here we get the information about the creators. Akifumi Kaneko. I don't know why he doesn't appear in person. There's just a robot. And Matsuzo Mashida. And he stayed out of the development for so much time. If you go check his Twitter page, you can see what was happening behind the scenes. Since 2019, he was trying to create games again as scenes. But now we finally can see what he was been working on. And here we can see the other key members. In the left side, it looks like a One Piece reward poster. And on the right side, it looks like a graphic novel or a cartoon. Yeah, and the other companies working with them. They are using Shade Game Development Company to make the graphics, because I believe that their companies are pretty small, to be honest. Like you can see here, maybe that's the whole company. The mastermind is Monaka, a black cat. And with Armored Fantasia, there are 2 other companies working with them. So that's probably why it's ahead in development. And then we have the stretch goals, 750,000 for both games. And then after they are funded, you will be sharing the funds between the 2 games. So it will be 4 different stretch goals. It's a combo Kickstarter that I haven't ever seen before. It's a pretty different way to make a campaign, and in my opinion, will just draw more attention to the project. Maybe they were smart, but this may also bite them in the back later when having to share all of this. In my opinion, they should have even tried more money to have a little extra for development. And then there's plenty of different things. Now we have some Q&As, the particulars, double Kickstarter. The creative teams on Area Entertainment and Studio Wild Rose believe there are still a ton of JRPGs fans out there wanting something more. There are many gamers among us who have played a game or 2 from Matsuzo Mashida or Akifumi Kaneko back catalog, and some who have played it all, but now both creators are coming together to try and reach the largest number of fans possible in the form of a double Kickstarter. Why crowdfund? We pitched multiple publishers and none of would fund our games without proof of concept. We believe in these titles and have tons of great stories to tell, so instead of giving up, we are proceeding down the only path we have with crowdfunding to show that these are games that fans want to play. Supporting the teams on Kickstarter is a chance to give the creators you love a second chance. So yeah, what they are doing here is trying to gather money to make a vertical slice or a playable game so that they can show publishers and get extra money and then finish the game and publish around the globe. It's how it works, and they decided to do a double Kickstarter to just draw more attention. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for those 2 projects, especially for Penny Blood, because, well, I love Shadow Hearts. I barely believe that this is happening, and they are honoring the original game with material design, horror, and the battle system. The same can be said by Wild Arms in Armored Fantasia, here being represented by the same ideas of Western in the future. So I believe those 2 will be dream projects for those fans that never expected a sequel. Well, it's a spiritual successor, but it's still being made by the original team, so you can expect great things. But what about you? Do you like this project? We will be back in then. Please say here in the comment sections. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.